What if the sugar in your morning coffee didn't come from a small farm at all, but from beet fields so massive they look endless? Fields that quietly move more material in a single season than some countries move in a year. That question pulls us straight into the hidden world of giant beet farms, a world that almost never gets real attention, where scale is everything and where sugar doesn't begin in a shiny factory, but deep in dark soil, shaped by machines that feel more like science fiction than farming. Because these farms don't just grow beets, they run like living systems timed to the minute, driven by data, weather patterns, soil chemistry, and generations of experience passed down in ways no manual can fully explain. And it all starts months before a single seed touches the ground, when satellite maps, soil scans, and historical yield data are layered together to decide exactly which field will produce the sweetest roots. Because in sugar beet farming, sweetness isn't luck. It's engineered, planned, argued over, and adjusted again and again. And when planting season finally hits, fleets of precision planters roll out at dawn, dropping seeds at mathematically perfect depths and spacing, not because it looks neat, but because every millimeter matters when you're trying to feed sugar factories that never sleep. Factories that demand millions of tons on strict schedules. And once those seeds are in, the real waiting game begins. But it's not passive waiting, it's constant monitoring. Soil moisture sensors blinking quietly under the surface. Drones flying low to spot stress before the human eye ever could. Agronomists walking rows, pulling leaves, tasting dirt, arguing about nitrogen levels like chefs debating seasoning, because one wrong decision can mean lower sugar content across thousands of acres. And that's not just a bad day, that's a financial disaster. Yet somehow these farms balance risk with confidence. Trusting systems refined over decades, and as the beets grow, thick shoulders pushing up against the soil, irrigation rigs sweep across fields in slow, hypnotic arcs, delivering water drop by drop. Never too much, never too little. Because excess water dilutes sugar and stress reduces yield, so balance becomes the obsession. And then comes the moment most people never see, the build-up to harvest. When fields that once looked calm suddenly turn into controlled chaos. Harvesters the size of houses crawl forward, lifting beets from the earth, shaking off soil, slicing off leaves in one brutal, efficient motion, and the sound is constant. Metal, engines, conveyors rattling nonstop, day and night. Because timing matters more than comfort. Frost can destroy sugar content overnight, and factories are already waiting, their storage silos empty, their processing lines humming in anticipation, and trucks line up like a moving city, each one loaded with raw beets, still breathing, still changing chemically by the hour, which is why speed becomes everything. Fields to factory in the shortest possible time, and this is where the scale truly hits. Miles of roads temporarily owned by agriculture. Convoys rolling out under flashing lights, not for show, but for safety, because these loads are heavy and mistakes cost lives. And once the beets arrive at the factory gates, their farming story ends and an industrial one begins. Yet the farmers are still involved, tracking sugar recovery rates, adjusting next season's plans based on what the factory reports back, because every harvest teaches lessons, some painful, some exciting. And the craziest part is that this entire system exists mostly out of sight, quietly supplying sugar that ends up in candies, baked goods, sodas, medicines, even biofuels, while the public thinks sugar just appears on shelves. Never seeing the early mornings, the mud-caked boots, the nights spent watching weather forecasts with clenched jaws, or the pride when yields come in higher than expected, because for these growers, beet farming isn't romantic. It's relentless, it's pressure-filled, but it's also deeply satisfying in a way that's hard to explain. The satisfaction of controlling something massive yet fragile, of feeding machines that feed millions, and doing it season after season with no guarantees. Just experience and grit, and even with all the technology, mistakes still happen, pumps fail, rain comes at the wrong time, heat waves, stress crops. But the system bends, adapts, keeps moving, because stopping isn't an option when factories depend on you. And as harvest winds down and fields are left scarred but empty, there's a strange quiet machines parked, soil turned, plans already forming for next year. Because beet farming never really ends, it just pauses, and that pause is filled with data reviews, arguments, laughter. and quiet confidence that next season can be even bigger, even sweeter. And that's the part no one talks about. The human side behind billions of tons, the decisions made by tired people drinking bad coffee in pickup trucks before sunrise, trusting instincts sharpened by failure and success, knowing that the sugar powering entire industries starts with them, with dirt under their nails and a system that works not because it's perfect, but because it's alive, evolving, and uniquely theirs. And that's why this story doesn't belong to any other channel or template. Because it's not just about how giant beet farms produce massive volumes for sugar factories, it's about how modern agriculture quietly became one of the most complex, high-pressure supply chains on Earth, run by humans who adapt, mess up, recover, and keep going, season after season, turning ordinary roots into something that touches almost every table on the planet in ways most people never stop to think about.